Hello everyone, my name is Fraeya and welcome to my broom closet. Today I'm going to talk about how you can obtain and use tools in the broom closet. For this video I'm going to assume that you know what these tools are and how to use them and why they're used. I'm just going to be going through methods of how to get them cheaply or subtly and things like that. The first thing I want to talk about is please don't worry about trying to get all your tools at once. Don't rush out and try to get the first thing that you see. Tools need to be chosen carefully and a tool needs to speak to you before you can use it. Secondly, and this is very important, your will and intention will always count for more than the tools that you use. This means that no tool is 100% necessary. You don't actually need any tools to be a witch. There is more information about this in my subtle practices video. A lot of those practices don't require any tools. The majority of your witchy work can be achieved through meditation and visualization techniques, so no tool is 100% necessary. However, I do know that a lot of witches love to have the traditional tools, which isn't always possible or easy in the broom closet, so that's what this video is for. So let's get into the video and talk about how to use and obtain tools in the broom closet. The first thing I want to talk about is colour. Colour is often overlooked as a tool, but it's actually very important to a witch. Colour is such an easy way to add extra magical energy into your craft and get the sort of correct vibes that you want for a goal. Colour can be so easily incorporated into your clothes, your jewellery, shoelaces, hair ties, painting objects, using coloured pens, pencils, things like that. So it's really easy to incorporate into your craft and you don't have to be obvious about it. Also remember that white and black can be used to substitute any other colour. So if you only have white candles, just visualise the candle in a different colour when you're using it. The second thing I want to talk about is crystals. Now, crystals are very popular among witches because they're really versatile and they're very pretty. I myself have a huge collection and I didn't get the majority of those from an occult or new age store. The majority of my crystals I actually got at gift shops at the end of museums and heritage sites, historical sites and things like that. A lot of the basic starter crystals are actually available really cheaply, things like rose quartz, citrine, clear quartz, amethyst. These are really good crystals and they're available cheaply and you can get them in pretty much any museum or heritage site. Another good way is to buy crystals online. Some good sites I will link below, including Witchy HQ, which claims to sell crystals ethically, so that's always a nice bonus. You can also buy crystals off of Etsy, although most of the time these will be sold in bulk, so it's better suited to people who like to make jewellery out of crystals. The next thing I want to talk about is candles. So the traditional taper candles that you might see in new age or occult stores look kind of suspicious and not many broom closet witches can find excuses for burning candles. So a perfect substitute is tea light candles, which you can pick up in most supermarkets and grocery stores. These are really good because they are small, highly portable, and they are great for bath rituals because using bath rituals is a really good excuse for having candles around, and also bath rituals themselves can be a very good practice for broom closet witches. There's more information in the subtle practices video that I made. Now, tea lights mostly come in the colour white, but you can buy wax dye, or another alternative is birthday cake candles. Now these are great because they're tiny, they burn fast, so this not only prevents wastage, but it also means that you don't have to wait for the candle to burn down so long. before it's burnt all the way out. So this is really good for getting a quick spell done before anyone walks in on you. Birthday candles also come in a much larger range of colours, so they're a really easy way to get lots of different coloured candles. The next thing I want to talk about is the Athame or Athame or ritual dagger, however you like to call it. Now, the perfect substitute for a ritual dagger is getting a letter opener. So letter openers come in all sorts of designs, including Celtic and Norse ones, and they're also a perfect excuse because it's just a letter opener. So if you actually use it as a letter opener, then no one's going to really suspect that you're using it for anything else. You could also consider purchasing a dagger or sword necklace. So this is a really good way of getting a small Athame, which is of course easier to hide, and it also makes a pretty necklace. Another alternative is getting a decorative hairpin like what you see geisha girls wearing. I'll show some examples on screen, but I could see them making really nice ritual daggers, so that's also an option. I've also seen an Athame made out of a pair of scissors, just an antique pair of scissors with ribbon tied around them. Makes for a really pretty Athame, and it's unconventional, but it looks great. If you are more of a kitchen witch, you can purchase a kitchen knife from your local supermarket and just solely dedicate that to your magical work, and that's a really subtle way of getting a ritual knife. The next thing I'm going to talk about is a wand. So wands aren't the most subtlest tools to have in the broom closet, but there are ways if you really want to have one. Wands are very easy to make yourself. You can just find broken tree branches on the ground, or you can go up to a tree and ask for a branch, and then you can easily fashion that into your own wand. So there's no money needing to be spent there, so this is a good budget option if you don't have much of an allowance or a very big budget. If you're a kitchen witch, you can turn a wooden spoon into a wand, or you can buy a wooden spoon and solely dedicate that to your magical work. Another option is to get a wand necklace. This could be a crystal wand like this. I'd probably go for something a little bit longer than that, or it can be a handcrafted wooden wand. I'll link some products in the description and probably show some on screen. The final option I have is Harry Potter merchandise. So if you've ever been to the Warner Brothers studios or been on an online store, you can actually buy replicas of Harry Potter wands that are often made out of resin. This is really good alternative because if you like Harry Potter and your family's okay with that, that's a really good way of getting a wand, and I haven't heard any issues of people using Harry Potter wands as their witchy wands, so that's a good alternative. The next thing I want to talk about is a chalice. So these are normally made of silver and quite hard to get hold of, like an actual silver one, but really for this you can use anything that can hold water, from a jam jar to a teacup to a wine glass. You can also use Halloween decoration, but plastic isn't really ideal for witchy work, but Halloween decoration is a good alternative. The next thing is a cauldron. Again, not the easiest thing to obtain in the broom closet, but I found that a really good alternative is again Harry Potter merchandise. When I visited the Warner Brothers studios, I managed to get a very nice ceramic cauldron which is heat safe, and I use it on my altar. It looks great, and you'd never know otherwise. Another good option is mini cauldron shaped incense holders. So I'll show some examples on screen and link some products in the description, but those again are really good for broom closet witches because they're tiny, but they're cauldrons and they look really pretty in my opinion. A good kitchen witch option is to get a pestle and mortar. For obvious reasons, this is a good alternative. And it's also just good for using in your kitchen witchery work to grind up herbs and whatnot. Another kitchen witch option is to buy a large saucepan or a bowl and solely dedicate that to your magical work again. The next item is a broom, also known as a besom. I'm probably completely butchering that pronunciation, but
Besom.
Never mind. These are quite easy to get a hold of in garden centres. You can buy quite decorative ones that are just like meant to be displayed in the garden or whatever, but of course you can use them for your magical work too. A good budget option is to just make them yourself. So again, you can just find a fallen tree branch or ask a tree for its branch, and then you can gather up some more flexible twigs or grasses and some rope or twine and make a broom that way. Obviously not the most subtle thing in the broom closet, so I will give some alternatives below. So making a mini broom is certainly an option. You can make one from bird feathers. I've made one from wheat and barley. And a really good excuse for making a broom is making natural paintbrushes. So I will link an article about that below, but basically you just take a twig and some little leaves or something and it makes a paintbrush. But I came across this and I was like, wow, that looks like a witch's broom. So that is definitely an option for you, because brooms do not have to be big or anything. They just have to be big enough to clear a space of stagnant energy, because they're not being used for physical brushing. The next one is quite a big one, and this is tarot cards. Tarot cards are definitely not the most subtle item on this list. And they're definitely not the easiest to get, because sometimes they can be quite expensive, and also not everyone has a new age or occult store near them, so they can seem quite hard to obtain. But tarot reading is kind of a modern trendy thing, so they're actually quite easy to obtain from bookstores, particularly chain bookstores like Waterstones in the UK. They have quite a big range because, like I said, it's taking off as a trend, so you can often get quite a few good decks in just generic bookstores. If this isn't an option for you, buying online certainly is. So there are absolutely thousands of decks on Amazon, and the good thing about Amazon is that you can choose to get it delivered to an Amazon locker, so you don't actually need to worry about someone else finding your order in the post, because you can order it to an Amazon locker or your local post office. And the only thing with buying online is obviously you don't really know what you're getting until it arrives. But if you just go on YouTube and look up whatever tarot deck you want, look up a review of it or a flip through of it, and this will give you a good idea of the cardstock and the quality of the cards before you get them. A budget option for getting tarot cards is to get them off of wish.com. Now, I know there's many mixed opinions about buying things off of Wish, but in fact my favourite deck I got off of Wish. There are good and bad things to this method. Obviously, a good thing is they are way cheaper, about a quarter of the price, so this is a good budget option. Also, most cards on Wish have been shrunk by 25%, so this is good for people with small hands who struggle to shuffle tarot cards, like myself. The downside of this is that the tarot cards are not from the original seller, so you're kind of taking away from their profits there. But if you're really desperate for a tarot deck, this is certainly an option, because it's a really good budget option. And also the cards are going to be lower quality, quite a thin cardstock, but you pay for what you get. So, but certainly an option if you want a cheap tarot deck that is smaller in size. I also want to talk about the rumour surrounding getting decks as gifts. So when you start learning about tarot, you'll often read in places that it's good luck to get your deck as a gift. Your first deck should always be a gift, yada yada yada. This is not true. It's just a myth, like I said. I've owned tarot decks for 8 years before getting one as a gift, and it doesn't feel much different to any of my other decks. So definitely a myth, and do not worry about having to get your deck as a gift. The next option is the super budget option, which is to download a deck online and then print it off. So I will provide a link where you can download a deck for free and just print it off using a colour printer, or an even better idea, print it in black and white and colour it in yourself, and you'll probably get to know the card meanings better that way. Finally, if getting a tarot deck just isn't an option for you because you wouldn't be able to hide it or you'd get in trouble or something, definitely look into cartomancy. This is just divination using a regular pack of playing cards. So this is super subtle because regular pack of playing cards are super available and accessible. If you want to get a pretty deck of playing cards, I really recommend getting the illuminated playing cards. They are based on the illuminated tarot, but they've just been converted into a playing card deck. So to the untrained eye, it's just super pretty playing cards, but actually within the deck there are a lot of tarot meanings that you can interpret. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is runes. So I know a lot of witches will buy their runes from occult sellers, which is okay, but probably not an option for broom closet witches. But runes are really easy to make by yourself. Just get 25 pebbles and a marker pen and write your runes on them. You can also make them out of wooden sticks, either twigs you found on the ground or lollipop sticks make really good runes. Or you can use the method that I used personally, which was air drying clay. You can just easily get this from a craft store, mould your clay pieces and then leave them in the air to dry, and then you can etch the runes in, or you can etch the runes in while the clay is drying. But this is really super easy way to get runes. Nice budget option. Not the easiest thing to hide, but if you can get a small little sachet or craft bag for them, then they are not too bad to hide in the broom closet. The last tool I want to talk about is herbs. I know a lot of witches kind of panic because they don't know how to get all of the herbs that they want to use, but you definitely don't need to panic about this because most of the most commonly used herbs in witchcraft are just very easily available from your local supermarket or your grocery store. The bonus of buying herbs from a supermarket is that they are guaranteed to be safe, food grade herbs, which is not always the case when you get them from new age stores. If you can't find an excuse to buy lots of herbs, then I recommend buying some tea. So there are lots of different types of tea with lots of different types of herbs in them. Just explore the tea aisle and see if any of the teas contain herbs that you want, and then you can brew this tea with magical intention. Again, I talked about this in my subtle practices video. And if you don't like tea or you don't want to brew it, then simply tear open the bags and use the herbs inside. So that's a super easy way of obtaining herbs in the broom closet. So there you go, guys. That was my video on different ways to obtain and use tools in the broom closet. I hope this was helpful to you all. Any links I have mentioned in this video will be available in the description for you. If you want to find out more about anything I've discussed in this video, just visit r/broomclosetwitch on Reddit. Has a huge wiki with lots of information, and you can also talk to other broom closet witches on there. But that's all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and also share this video with as many broom closet witches as possible. I'd like to help out as many people as I can. Please subscribe for more. I'm making videos on a weekly basis, so you'll always get a new video from me. So that's all I have. Have a good day, everyone. Stay safe and blessed be.